Hello, everybody. Welcome inside the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies, a baseball show breaking down everything happening in baseball in South Australia. Eric Balnart, the great Michael Dunn. You were looking pretty huffed and puffed when you came over to this booth.
Yeah, well,
were you running for the first time since 1999?
Yeah, something like that, and not quickly either. So, but we were sort of training out here as well at the same time. The Giants are training, so had to listen to the pre-game or pre-training speech. And
that's what got you huffed up. I had
to run over because Chris wouldn't stop talking. I'm like, it's getting closer to 6 o'clock. I better get moving here. So I got here just in the nick of time, and here we are. So welcome everybody, and hope you're having a good week, and we can fill you in on what's happening around the baseball world.
Well, we won't dwell too long on some of the results. We'll look at the context of it, but this is what happened last night for those that missed it. Great comeback from West Torrens. They were down 6-1. Sturt fleeced Southern Districts. They're on a roll. Henley and Grange, they're top now. They beat West Torrens on the weekend. They are now first place. Kensington, they beat Port. Goodwood smashed Golden Grove. East Torrens now in 7th place, the one chasing Southern Districts. When you take a look at the ladder and how this all shapes up, you know, that top spot, now Henley and Grange, they're the one with the double chance guaranteed at the moment. There's now a bunch of teams on 32. And then East Torrens, they're only 6 points back of Southern Districts. Imagine if they didn't forfeit that game versus Southern Districts.
Well, that's a 4-point turnaround, right?
Yep.
So it goes back to being 22-20.
And Glen Elg actually have one of the higher maximum points. That's actually a typo on my bad on that. They should be 15 points on the standings. That's my fault for Glen Elg down there. And
they're actually in front of Golden Grove.
They're actually in front of Golden Grove, and Glen Elg can actually move up the ladder with 2 games coming up versus Southern Districts. So Glen Elg, how about that? All of a sudden, I reckon that pitcher, Jaden Eldridge, he actually might pull sneaky high in caps.
Yeah, right.
Right?
Okay.
Like, what do you think? Like, if you're a pitcher and you're pitching, every other game, and Glen Elg are now winning a bunch of games, and you've been Glen Elg's best performing player, Jaden Eldridge, when we pop up the stats later, he's among the leaders and stuff. Surely that gets him some votes.
It'll get him some votes, there's no doubt, but it won't get him enough votes to win.
No, it won't get him enough votes to win.
But you can see they went 0-8 to start, and now they're 7-12. So the last 11 they're 7-4, which puts them in the running, right? If they were doing that the whole year.
So they play Saturday and then Tuesday versus Southern Districts.
2 big ones.
So
they need to win both of those to keep them in it.
They do need to win both of those.
Yep.
If they do, then the complexion of the ladder changes, because all of a sudden they'd have a game in hand with Southern Districts. They'd only be 5 points back and kind of have them reeling. But the magic number for South is kind of like 5 points. And by the way, those top teams only need 1 or 2 more wins to actually clinch a final spot. Not that we didn't know that's coming.
Yep. Well, we probably should let people know when that clinch is, right? Over the next couple of weeks.
We will, yeah. I was hope there was a scenario last night. A bunch of things need to happen, but it will be by this time. The next show we have, we'll have clinching.
Okay, cool. That'd be great.
Dunny, I've been using this word wagon a lot lately, and we're not going to pop up the graphic yet. As you take a look at the stat leaders, you can do this. I'm going to explain. People have messaged me actually being like, you keep saying wagon. What is a wagon? Because it's used differently in Australia. Now, a wagon is like, you know what a wagon is, right? Like an actual wagon that you'd attach onto something, like a wagon.
Correct.
When you are a wagon and you're going down a hill, there's no brakes. You're just rolling down that hill. When you're a wagon, you are just going head first down the hill.
It's a wagon
rolling
without a horse down a hill.
Yeah,
so there's nothing to stop it.
There's nothing to stop it.
Righto.
You are an absolute wagon. So I'm going to pop up 4 people, and you can tell me what you think, or 4 things in South Australian baseball who would be classified as absolute wagons right now. Let's take a look. Number 1, Goodwood, 74 to 19 over their last 7 games on a 7-game win streak. Last night you saw that wagon roll in that last inning when they scored 11. Goodwood, is that a fair wagon?
It's a moving wagon. It's not full on downhill wagon, but it's certainly a wagon.
Okay, if that's not a full on wagon, what about Sturt Baseball Club? In their last 4 games, they're 4-0 and they're 62-1. They've outscored opponents 62-1 in their last 4 games.
Yep.
They've also won 8 games in a row.
Yep.
Oh, but Eric, they're just playing the lower seeded teams. Oh, like that's how you run up the No, Dunny. East Torrens, they beat 7-2. Goodwood 7-1, Woodville 6-5, Woodville 10-2, Kenzie 16-0, West Torrens 12-1, North's 21-0, and South's 13-0. There's 4 top 6 teams in that mix, including what was previously the top seeded West Torrens 12-1. Is that a full-blown wagon?
That is a full-blown wagon.
You would say that?
Absolutely.
How do you stop Sturt right now?
Well, it's they're getting hot at the right time of the year, so that's they got all their players back. Their pitching's doing well. The boys are hitting the ball well. So
haven't lost since Tom Winter was on the show.
There you go. Maybe it's us.
Is that a in the bullpen bump?
Maybe whoever comes on here, the teams just keep winning.
We had Darcy Berry on the show earlier in the year, and then all of a sudden he was an Adelaide Giant. Now he's on Team Australia.
Well, look at us go.
That's a bullpen bump.
Anyone else want to come on the show and improve their baseball stats?
That's a bullpen bump.
It is. It's fantastic. No, but they are definitely a wagon.
Wilson Lee, on the season, he's hitting .457, but I couldn't really summarize what he really did. Like, look at what he did on Saturday.
Yep.
Did you see his stat line? 3 for 3.
I heard some rumors of it, but I didn't.
3 for 3, 2 home runs, 8 innings pitched, like 8 strikeouts, 2 hits, 2 earned runs.
Probably 3 votes.
I was looking at his box score. I was having this debate with Robert Laidlaw. I reckon there's probably 6, maybe 7, almost surefire 3-vote games for Wilson Lee.
Yeah, he's just missed too many at the start, I think.
He's getting close to that 30 territory, though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see.
We're gonna have that chat later in the year.
It'll be an interesting.
He's a wagon, though.
He's right now at the minute. He's definitely a wagon.
The thing is about wagons is they can kind of be going straight down, but as soon as they pick up too much speed and they
get the wobbles,
and they fall over. So people would say, Eric, maybe Sturt women's Div 1 team should be a wagon, and you know what? Yes, maybe they should. They were 10-0. Woodville beat them. But so more on that later. But Southern District's women's team, unbeaten in 6. Sarah Short is back pitching. Ellie Tucker's smashing the ball. They've got a pretty good young team. Even Deb Hutchings is hitting the ball. They haven't lost in 6, and Southern Districts have powered past Glenelg in the standings. Right now, I wouldn't call them the full-blown Sturt wagon right now, like that D1 team is.
Yep.
But
they're gathering some momentum in a hurry, aren't they?
That's why they're on alert. They're on wagon alert. If they can maybe beat Sturt, then I'd be like, yeah, they're a wagon.
Yeah. So, and are they playing Sturt this weekend? I'm not sure.
I'll have to check. In a couple weeks, they are for sure. In the next couple weeks.
Oh, that's a big one for them, and interesting where they'll end up finishing.
If the finals were to end today, they'd be playing each other in the first round in that double chase game.
Yeah,
double
okay.
chance game.
Well, it's all getting coming down to the nitty gritty of the final 6 or 7 games, isn't it?
So that is my wagon alert, and I hope that's okay with you.
No, that's completely fine.
Wilson Lee, though, had that 3 for 3 game, 2 home runs, pitched 8 innings. That's got to be one of the, it's not the best baseball performance of all time, although it's hard to do amazing things more than that. What's the best? Can you remember like an unbelievable individual performance from one of your teammates or that you got against that you're just like, oh my dear Lord, this person is crushing us?
Yeah, I'm not sure I've ever seen a perfect game or anything like that, but I've probably seen some people go 5 for 5 with 4 home runs, that type of stuff, but I couldn't tell you who they were, right?
No.
But there's certainly some of those that have gone around. Pitchers have thrown 8 perfect and maybe got a hit in the last to break it up or something like that. But to narrow it down to one specific person, probably not.
Well, Wilson Lee's was pretty good. Let's take a look at the women's standings and results from the weekend. Like we said, finally, Woodville, someone beat Sturt 9-2. That's the standings. It's pretty much set in stone. It's just who's going to finish in that double chance game, Glenelg or Southern Districts. That's the battle right now. Woodville picking up steam. They've won back-to-back. Some of the key performers, Carly Moore had an inside-the-park home run. She also pitched 2 innings.
Yep.
That was pretty good. Darna Veen had 8 strikeouts in her 8. I still can't say her name right. Darna, whatever it is. So that is pretty good. And there's the key performers that'll be up on your screen in a second. Sarah Short also had a big weekend for Southern District. She gets an honorable mention, but Ellie Tucker 2 for 3, 3 RBIs. She's been rolling. She's might be on wagon alert too.
Yeah, she's playing really well at the moment. So and obviously Southern Districts are on fire.
Well, there's your Hilltop headlines and your wrap-up. We'll be back after the break for a quick chat with Giants pitcher and Tigers pitcher Jack O'Loughlin.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Back in the bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Jack O'Loughlin, you've aged.
Yes. I wish I had his arm.
Yeah.
Oh, the left arm, isn't it? Oh, my God.
Imagine
Is
me
that the
left-handed.
next step in the evolution of Darren Fidge?
There are people that can throw with both arms.
Yeah, did you see? Remember that headline? Who was that pitcher that could throw with both? And they had they screwed up the headline. They said amphibious pitcher was on.
Oh, yes. It was somewhere in the minor leagues, wasn't it?
Yeah, I saw one the other day. There was a young guy that was probably in his early 20s that threw both sides 90.
Both sides.
Both sides, left and right-handed, 90 miles an hour.
That's impossible.
There's a video clip. There's a video clip. We'll see if we can find it and bring it up.
Yeah.
How do you reckon you'd go with your left arm?
I'd have to pull my hat off to the side, the pants off to the side. I'd have to be just a little bit more goofy.
I'm not sure that's possible.
I reckon we could do it. Oh, good one.
I like it. No, Darren, thank you very much for joining us on the show. And first off, congratulations, 700 games. Is that just at Goodwood?
Yeah, that was just. Oh, yeah. Now I was listening to your coverage last night.
wondering.
It's 700. Well, you guys are very good. We're at a Golden Grove, so I got to watch the game twice on the way home. So quite a ways, out there. 700 club games. So that includes A grade and B grade games.
All at Goodwood.
All at Goodwood. Yeah.
Did you ever play at any other club?
A year or so at Sturt in the early juniors. We lived close to there, and then we moved close to Goodwood.
And how
Had
many,
all the
how
same
many ABL
neighborhood.
games?
Oh gosh,
300 plus?
who knows? I think we worked out as about 15 years. So through the 90s, where I didn't play at the club very much, and it was all professional. And then when the new bite came on, that there was 5 or 6 years there where I didn't play at the club as much. So yeah, there's a few games missed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of hard to classify that as a pitcher too, right? Because you would have a couple hundred appearances for sure, but that's just the appearances. And like, you know, if you're starting a game, you're not pitching the rest of the series, you'd be on the road in the bullpen, on the dugout. Like the actual games you'd be at would be what, over 2,000 if you had them all up?
Yeah, well, that's right. If you had a look at Welshie, so he played in the minor leagues for, 7 or 8 years, and he would have played that many. Like if you have a look at how many games he actually played. That's right. As a starting pitcher, you're pitching once every 5 days. Reliever, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, I've certainly watched a lot of games. That's for sure.
Yeah, you certainly have.
No, Darren, really appreciate you joining the show once again. So what is what keeps you coming back to the Diamond year after year?
Oh, I don't know. I just love it.
Good canteen.
Good. Well, the chips at Goodwood are very good. They are top notch. So check them out. I don't know, man. I just love throwing. I love pitching. The competition. As I've gotten older, you know, I was talking to Riley the other day, and we had Fitzy was there. You know, he's talking about how hard he's throwing, and I was like, man, I remember throwing, you know, in the low to mid 90s, and it was like, yeah, those were the days. You know, and I was saying to Riley, I was like, man, you know, my mentality is to try to throw as hard as I can, hard fastball, slider, but it's like, yeah, it ain't there anymore. So yeah, just having to try to always, well, not reinvent yourself, but work with what you've got. I talked to a physio the other day, and he said, you know what, just hang with them, man. Like as you get older, you lose the elasticity, and there's not much you can do to actually throw harder as you get older. So you just got to maybe get smarter. So. And I get, you know what, I saw the numbers come up on the board before. Chunky, you know, 1 point something ERA. Like that guy got smarter. Like he used to, his failing in the past was, you know, he'd start getting hit and he'd just go, oh, I'm going to try to throw harder. And I was like, oh, he just got hit harder. But right now he's going out there with the mentality of, I'm just going to move the ball that side of the plate, move it there, and I'm going to change speeds. And his second year back after, 10 or 15 years it's been. I'm not sure how long it was. But
yeah, he's doing really well.
Dominating.
Well. Yeah.
Goodwood's this interesting blend right now in the lineup. Like it's the same with the pitchers and the hitters, right? So on the pitchers, you've got, you know, yourself and Chunky, who have been around for a long time, but then you've also got, you know, Fitzy, who's still, I mean, he's what, 27, 28, but he's still a young pitcher in terms of pitching. Yeah. Liam Scott was there as well, but then in the batting lineup, obviously your Cakeys, your Krezzies, and your Welshies, they've been doing it for ages. But last night it was guys like Brody Heaps and Peter Pake that were hitting the ball, and they're younger dudes, and then young Bushel. So it's a weird mix between like these veterans with great experience and these young kids. So how are these young kids integrating into the squad, and do you think you're influencing them in good ways, I guess?
Oh, we absolutely hope so. And those guys are moving through B grade and A grade. But isn't that a great thing to have? You've got these young guys coming up into a team where I think I've heard on the grapevine that if you come to Goodwood, you're going to the dad's army, but that's fine. But what, there's a solid base to input these guys into. They make a mistake, it's not the end of the world. Yeah, it's not like you've got 8 guys out there making the same mistakes. But COVID's been a blessing because I know Jack got heaps more playing time because Crezy's been down, and it's awesome. It's awesome for the club, and it's all come from. I know Praddy's been around this, you guys a lot, and he created this little league at the club. And it's now it's starting to come to fruition.
Yeah, so talk. Let's go back a few years and talk through your pro career with the Twins and the time you were there. So talk us through that, and if you now at Fidge looking back down on 20 years ago, what would you have done different to maybe give yourself better opportunities in the early days? Because when we were playing, we didn't know. You don't know a lot about what goes on over there, right? Now we're a lot more in tune. There's a lot more statistical stuff nowadays as well with what goes on that we didn't have all that sort of stuff when we were playing. So how would you have done it differently, and how was it when you were actually there?
Yeah, so I guess with regards to the statistical stuff now, I don't know heaps about that. I've heard stuff talk about spin rate and all of that kind of gear and the little machines they've got. That sounds really cool, and I wish I could see what kind of stuff I had back in the past. I worked hard, I trained hard, I lived and breathed baseball. I think the only thing that I would do differently is not... the time I hurt my shoulder was the year I had off, and then didn't know to come back just gradually. I came back.
Full throttle.
I was just like, my arm's a bit tight. Normally when my arm's a bit tight, I just throw through it or just throw a bit harder and it loosens up. But not after 3 or 4 months off. And then my first couple of throws back. So that was a really big mistake. Then I had shoulder surgery and just never really came back from that. But other than that, it was just I was on just the progress through the minor leagues. So there's rookie ball, short season A, long season A, and then that was about where I was doing quite well, having some pretty good seasons, and was on the pathway, only a couple of levels away, and then blew out the shoulder. That was pretty much that was it. So. Yeah, no, I was happy with. I have no regrets. Yeah.
And then using that experience now, when you've got guys like Liam Scott and Fitzgerald being around the club, do you actively try to? I guess coach is maybe the wrong word because I know you're not the coach there, but you're a veteran guy that can, I'm assuming, help teach them the art of pitching at least.
Of course, we always talk. I've coached Liam since he was little fella. We used to in the winter time we would go down to the Mitcham shopping centre. Like 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, and they've got lights underground. We would play catch there. So I've been coaching him for quite a while. Always trying to impart whatever we can. It's a long process. Like you don't get to those levels just have 3 good games and you're away. So there you go, young goody boys just there.
Kids walking past.
And Fitzy, like as you say, he's mid-20s. He's dominating. The numbers have been put up on the internet the last few weeks. Last night he struggles. You're going to have your ups and downs. There was no reason for him to struggle last night. I talked to him afterwards, and he's like, I haven't pitched as much lately. I was getting in a good rhythm. These are all the things that come at you. Yeah, you get out of funk, and then it's like, okay, all right, well, what are you going to do? What did you feel that was wrong? Oh, I felt this, and this. And it's like, okay, well, this is what I saw. So, we'll see how it goes. I'm sure he'll pitch again on the weekend, and hopefully he's got a better feel.
This may surprise you, but I'm not a pitcher or much of a pitcher. So when you have been in a funk, that's interesting to me that you say that, right? Like, I wasn't feeling this, wasn't in a funk, and you say, well, what are you going to do to get out of it? So can you walk me through an example of maybe when you were in a funk and you're like, okay, I made this adjustment as a pitcher and something kind of clicked, or is it like a big thing, or is it sometimes just those tiny little things, like your golf swing, or you're like, I just a different mental cue, like
but sometimes we play a sport that you fail at.
That's true. If you fail,
you're not every single week, you're not going to win, and you're not going to be perfect every single week. And your funk more than anything is probably your mind telling you that that's okay. And next week, don't change anything. You're good at what you do, and come out and do the same thing, and you'll do exactly the same thing you did the week before, and you have success. but the week before you did exactly the same thing and you failed. So that's something you have to deal with as well.
So back to your question, question. Yeah. Is there something time that you were going through a funk and then you made that adjustment and you're like, okay, yep.
Yeah. Oh, look, it can be pitch to pitch. You can like go, like throw one hitter and go, boom, 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 put it exactly where you want. The next hitter, you're like bouncing him, threw one behind his head and go, what? I've just forgotten how to throw. Like I would say the 95% of pitches when you start to lose control is that you're not in a good throwing position when your foot hits the ground, and that might be that you're lifting your leg and you're rushing towards, So I always talk to the pitchers or myself and just stay back, give yourself time, lift your leg, let that arm get out in front, and get that nice good out in front release point. A lot of times when we're missing, and I said this to Fitzy last night. I was like, mate, your body's winning the race. You've got to have your hand win that race. So get that hand out in front, get that good feel, that nice release point. And I've talked to him about that before over pre-season. So he was like, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I did feel that. So, but you've all got your own little things that you go, oh god, there it is again, and then just readjust. But it might also be, you throw, unbelievable curveball one week, striking everyone out. And the next, you're throwing it and you're getting pop-ups. So you don't think anything's wrong. Then the next one, they're smashing it. So it's taken then how many repetitions to get to that point, and then you're going, oh man, I've really got to make some adjustments and then pull yourself back. You say we're like a hitters. You're failing because you're not getting hits. Pitching, I don't agree. Like we play with success, like you certainly get feedback very quickly if you're not doing well, but as a pitcher you're commanding what's going on, and you try to, if you're not hitting your spots, you're not doing a very good job, whereas a hitter could get out 7 times and get 3 hits and they're like, hey, I'm happy with that.
Whereas if you faced a batter 10 times and you only got him out 7 times, you're not doing so hot.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're hitting 300 off you, so you're like, yeah, you want to change that up.
I saw that on that video going around of you getting it. So how did that come up? Just to do 700th game? Was that kind of plan being like, let's get Fidge in for an at-bat? And then, it turned out pretty good. You got a knock.
Yeah, that's right. Well, yeah, lucky it went that way. Yeah, no, the plan was that I would pitch the 9th inning. Oh, there, it's up on the screen right now. There it is. The plan was, because we had Ladies' Day there and a bit of a crowd, and that I was going to pitch the 9th inning. And the game was fairly close early, but around the 5th and 6th innings, we started to score some runs, and I'm sitting there going, if I don't pitch soon, we're going to run out of runs here, and it's going to be a mercy. But I think the coaches, they weren't sure on the score exactly. And someone mentioned to them in the bottom of the 7th, and the 10th run was about to score, and Pommy had to hold him up while they were calling me in from the bullpen. Right, you got to go hit, man. Yeah, so I came out, runners at 1st and 3rd, and the 10th and walk-off run was at 3rd. So
no, that's funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah, otherwise you'd be still on 699 sitting right. Well, you would have had 701 now. Yeah.
We have a video of it.
We would have had the live stream 700th game. So we blame Pommy for that.
Yeah, let's blame him.
Yeah, that's right. Tackled the runner.
You boys played together though for a little bit, eh?
Yeah, we played together for a long time, probably 7 or 8 years. So, what's some of your best recollections from the old days when we played? Some of some fun things that we used to get up to, either in the Giants' time or your bite times. Are things that stand out to you that you just sit and giggle about that you can actually tell the story?
Well,
exactly.
That's what Dunny said. But then Dunny was also saying that you were a character when you were like traveling, whether it be wearing like something about suits or coins or I don't know, some stupid stuff that you were doing.
Okay.
You got lots of stories. Just make sure you pick the right stories.
No, that's right. Oh, we used to have fun in the airports. It might, there might be a 20-cent piece on the floor, and you walk past and just dive in your full suit, and then come up. Oh yes, feet and shoulder around, 20 cents, put it in your pocket, and then walk off. Just stupid boy stuff. Do you want to tell the story about the pool?
Yeah, well, the pool one was that we were in Perth, and I was saying to Eric before, and we got there. It was stinking hot. We're in double-breasted suits and
why?
Nice,
why were you in double-breasted
suits?
That's
what you did in the old days.
Man.
Yeah, you used to do that.
We went to Peter Shearer, I reckon.
And they were like aqua. They were like an aqua colour.
Wait, did you guys color coordinate the suits? Is it like a team?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
No. It was all team supplied.
Yeah, everything was the same. We had all we
I'm
all had
not
the
sure
same.
Who the sponsor. We had Hungry Jack's tyres as
Yeah,
well.
it was unbelievable.
What?
Yeah, it
Could
was
you imagine
crazy.
seeing that strut in the airport? Like, imagine our boys now wearing that.
Oh, there's no chance.
There's none.
No, there's no chance. So
You can't even get to wear a polo.
No, so we're in Perth. We land. It's like 38 or something, and we get to the hotel, and we're all standing around waiting for our keys.
But our rooms weren't ready.
Our rooms weren't ready, and Fidge had his bags in his hand, and he just walked past everybody with his bags, opens the doors, drops his bags, and just jumps straight in the pool, fully suited. And we just all lost it. It was the funniest thing ever.
Swum the full length. Came up behind him there.
Like he was on holidays. It was fantastic. Yeah, we had some good fun.
It took the whole weekend, and the jacket still was wet by
By the time we
at
had
the end in
to
the
travel
hotel
back on the
room.
plane in the suits.
Imagine if like Snapchat and Instagram and all that kind of existed in those days.
No.
Wouldn't
No.
have been good news. Well,
90s were a different time.
Yeah, it was
For sure.
different. There was no. That's why there was no phones in the 90s.
the 90s were a different time. And just quickly, Fidge, before we get to our questions we asked everybody here, you've got a couple daughters that are doing some big things in the softball world right now. Give us a shout out to how those two are going.
All right, so Rube, I don't think she's over there. I think that's the other.
now?
That's
Nah,
the
it's a
other
juniors,
under-18s team. Yeah, I think they've got to buy. Yeah, so Rubes is doing really well. She's I'm not sure if she is. Hopefully, she makes the under-18 state team. I think she's first year on that, playing 18s and B grade, leading the team hitting in B grade. She told me the other day, and pitching. She doesn't throw quite as hard as Millie, but way better control, always has. And so she knows she's got to work on her spins and all the movement there. And yeah, Millie playing A grade has had some great success already with the A grade team for Sturt, and then has recently signed I don't even know what you call that. Signed up with
A letter of commitment or whatever?
with the University of Hawaii. So yeah, so that's pretty cool. Oh, and I'm wearing the old Maui top today. There you
So
go.
when does she actually leave to go?
It'd be September.
Okay.
Are you're gonna get over to Hawaii to watch the games?
It's like
You have. I mean,
if you're gonna go anywhere, you might as well sign up with Hawaii. You're gonna
Why
have how many people? Like, I don't know how many friends have gone. Oh, we'll go visit for sure. So yeah, we've been there before, and so she's actually seen the university. But yeah, absolutely.
That'd be great.
And if you haven't watched Sturt, that softball team play, there's a battle tonight actually. Winner goes top in that game. And Millie had a good game on the weekend versus West Torrens, who were a wagon, but they started to hobble.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Here you guys talking about that. Yeah, she started out poorly. I think she walked the first three hitters, maybe struck somebody out, gave up a bleeder, but then struck out the next couple, and then the score ended up being 7-1 or something by the end. And West Torrens, they're really strong, and Steph Trzynski, she's been dominating. So yeah, that was good for Sturt's confidence. Steph needs to, she needs to get hit around once in a while. That'll be the loss she had to have.
Well, no, it's always good to see the Fidge, the whole Fidge clan with that Fidge competitiveness out there. Fidge, as we wrap up here, we ask the same questions to everybody that comes on the show. So the first one for you is, can't even remember. What do we normally ask? Oh, yeah. What is your favorite sporting event that you have ever attended, like actually attended?
All right. You'll like this.
I hope. Well, sure.
Yeah. Well, it was. It was an IHL game in where were we? Indiana. Where did I live? Fort Wayne, Indiana.
The Comets? No, the Racers.
It was in the 90s, man. So, so we went in there. Actually, I've got another good one. Anyway, this is a great one. This is a great one, though. We've gone in, we're watching. I was like, this is pretty good. And we were up kind of high. And I'm like, I wonder if we can get down there by like the glass and see what that looks like. And we kind of snuck down there. And just as we got down there, some dude just gets slammed up against the glass, and they're smashing into it. Oh, I was just like, this is amazing. Yeah. And they're allowed to fight.
Remember when he threw out the ceremonial first pitch at an adrenaline game?
Oh, yes.
The first puck, he went to drop the puck, and he threw the
and
pitch.
I whipped it. and I got a goal. Scored a goal.
From center ice, he whips the puck at the goalie from center ice before the game.
Yeah, between his legs, goal.
It was ridiculous, and then we lost as usual.
That was fun. That was fun.
Always fun. And what about a sporting event that you would love to go to that's either happened in the past or it's going to happen in the future? Like I'd say Bill's Super Bowl, but that's just never going to happen because it's the most cursed franchise in the history of sport, and I'm not going to watch football ever again. But you could say that too if you wanted.
Sure. Well, I would love to go to the Giants now. I'd love to go to a Giants premiership or championship game that we actually win.
Oh, wow. I'd like to go to that
If
too.
we can look to the future, then that would be fantastic.
You've said this like 5 times over the last 7 years on the championship weekend, being like, oh man, if we win, how good's the party going to be?
Oh man, I think I was involved in maybe 4 premierships that we didn't get, and another 7 or another 3 or 4 that we got in and didn't quite get to. So yeah, we've been a part of it, but never, and we've been so close.
I know.
That Norwood final in your final season was like,
and the team, and we lost Miller right at the end of the season there, and he was like,
and Stem.
and Stem wasn't allowed to pitch. Yeah. Oh well.
That was a weekend. That was an emotional roller coaster.
There was a big brawl at some time during that season, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That was a hell of a year.
Yeah, it was
There was a few instances, like even that year when, remember, we lost in Canberra and like Brooke took everybody out in the field and gave everybody that big talking to, and then we ripped off like 17 of 18 in a row.
Yeah, that was amazing. Yeah.
It was a special team. And the last one for you, Fidge, music. What is your most played song going on right now on the... What, do you still have a CD player or what?
No, I got rid of my CDs recently. Oh, most played song. My girlfriend Monique's going to hate this, but Sophie Tucker. But that's only...
Purple Hat?
No, I don't even know the name of it. But Jamie... what is it? Batshit Crazy. Can we swear on this?
Yeah, you can.
Okay. Me and Bushy have... spent some late nights drinking and watching music, and he's thrown Sophie Tucker at me. So I'll throw that one out there.
There you go.
Check it out. Batshit Crazy.
I like it. That's a good response. Fidge,
Awesome.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Always good for a chat. Really appreciate getting you on the show.
Yeah, it's been great to be here, and I love watching you guys. And it's been great seeing all the stuff you guys are doing with baseball. It's good to promote it, and there's probably one thing that we haven't seen from the past is heaps of the guys like Great Treks and all those guys. At least now you're capturing.
It's an opportunity.
You're capturing current baseball and for a good 10 years now. So well done.
Fidge, really appreciate the kind words, and we'll hopefully catch up to you soon for a little Goodwood finals run.
That would be nice. Yeah.
Jack O'Loughlin for real coming up. Darren, Fidge, you got younger.
Yeah, a little bit.
Got more hair too. Got to eat more hair as well.
Now, Jack O'Loughlin finally joining the show here. Adelaide Giants, Detroit Tigers pitcher. Jack, how's it been being back this summer back in South Australia first? You miss being home?
I definitely do miss being home. It's a little different being at home though, because it's not the normal lifestyle I'm used to, but in the end it's always nice to be home. It's much warmer weather than it is there right now, so that's a big win for me.
So what's the go right now? Because a few people were listening to the broadcast that you and I, great job by the way, that you and I did at Port Adelaide, that Woodville game. That was a lot of fun.
It was fun.
But a few people have actually messaged me since then just asking what's going on with the strike. Like they weren't even aware what the intricacies were. So for people not watching at home, it looks like, or we currently are under work stoppage in the MLB. Spring training report dates in like 11 days, and there's no deal in place between the owners and the players. So that affects guys on the 40-man. How does it affect, if at all, like how does this affect you in your minor league setup right now?
So currently for the minor leagues, it doesn't affect the minor leagues at all whatsoever. The minor leagues will go ahead as scheduled, and the only difference will be any person on the 40-man, if they don't come to an agreement, they won't be allowed to play, as far as I know.
Now, everyone hopes they get an agreement, obviously, but if the season were to start tomorrow, which we can almost say that, like spring training's coming up, because there's people on the 40-man that would be on AAA, wouldn't there?
Yeah, there'd be guys in AA and AAA that will have maybe a few guys in AA and probably like 10 guys in AAA that are on that 40-man roster that I believe will have to wait around to see what happens.
So would that kind of change then the complexion as a little trickle-down effect to guys that are like those prospects that were pitching, maybe left-handed pitchers that were pitching in high A last year, putting up pretty good numbers, for example?
Hopefully that definitely gives the guys in the lower levels a chance to move up and experience the higher levels, where fill in some of those spots and see how it goes from there, really.
So, Jack, walk us through your last minor league season, just for the people maybe watching that weren't quite aware of what was going on. Start from where you started in March and where you finished in September.
So I started in rehab for...
rehab is a funny word if you don't know what we're talking about here.
Yeah, so I was rehabbing my elbow, which I had Tommy John surgery on, and I spent 2.5 months of the season from March till late June-ish rehabbing at the facility, getting ready for games, and then I started my season a little delayed compared to everybody else, but I believe it was like the 1st of July or one of the last days of June. I pitched my first game in Low A Southeast League for the Lakeland Flying Tigers. I spent about 2 months there before I went up and pitched in High A with the West Michigan Whitecaps to finish off the season.
Yeah, I guess talk us through that 2.5 months that you're in rehab, that your mind does crazy things to you, right? So you're wondering, what you're doing and how long it's going to take for your arm to get better, and you feel little niggles and you don't know what's sort of going on. And how do you get yourself through that and who helps you through that to make sure that you're stay on the right track?
For sure, definitely. It's a very hard time, but for me, those 2 months and 2.5 months were the last 2.5 months, because it was in total about a 18-week procedure all up. So those last 2 months, it's pretty much a mindset of it's only 2 months to go and I'm going to get to pitch in a real game again and get to compete again. Right. So it's like...
Worst is behind you.
Yeah, you've got through the worst parts of it and you're like, oh, sweet, it's now baseball games just around the corner.
We had a good chat. You can check that on the Baseball SA log of the pages. Jack walked us through his whole rehab process about how his arm was feeling. Everything is about a half-hour chat. It was a good chat that Jack zoomed in for. So if you want to check that out, go search that through. Jack, I'm curious about your call-up story, though. So was that a scheduled, were you told before the season, being we're going to try to get you up to high A? Or was it you were pitching well and then you got a call? So like Curtis Mead told us about how he got called up from low A to high A last week. So now I want to hear about how Jack O'Loughlin got called up from low A to high A.
So it was similar to Curtis. I watched Curtis's one, but I already knew that it was kind of a plan. We were talked about at the start of the year that they said we would like to push you a little bit and see how it goes. And I threw really well in my rehab starts in Lakeland, which then we had too many pitches in high A and too many pitches in AA for any pitching moves to happen. And I ended up staying in Lakeland for a little bit longer than I think what was originally planned. And I was throwing well, and we were on the road in, I think it was West Palm Beach, playing against the Cardinals. And we were actually staying there for a 2-week trip because we were playing the Marlins the following week at the same facility. And the night before the off day, after our last game of the first series, I got a phone call from our manager, and he was saying, your time's finally come and they're sending you to high A tomorrow, so pack your bags and get ready to leave.
Because didn't Curtis use the word, he was saying he was feeling kind of itchy or anxious at low A, where he's I want to be challenged at the next level. Did you feel that you wanted to be challenged at the next level as well?
All the time. You want to feel like you want to get challenged more and more and more and see how well you can do against better players. But at the same time, for me, I was just kind of happy to be back pitching in general.
Yeah.
So it was one of those things that it was I'm pitching well, but at the same time, I haven't pitched in 2 years, so whatever happens at this point.
And where are you at right now in regards to, do you know when you're leaving, and what time you need to report to Detroit and where you sort of go from there, and what the plan is for you this year as well? Have you had that conversation with anyone?
So I haven't had a conversation about like what the plans are for me this season, but
Year 7.
Yeah, it is. It's my last year, so I'm hoping. Well, I'd say last year on my first contract, and hopefully go on to a second contract somewhere.
So just on that, just explain to everyone what that means, because a lot of people wouldn't understand how you sign through the minor league system and then what you're talking
Signed
about.
at 16.
Yeah,
too,
running
or
out of your
15
contract
even, I don't
and
know.
sort of what goes from there. So just talk through that so that people understand what you're saying.
So you sign a 7-year deal when you sign as an international free agent. So you'll have 7 seasons from pretty much when you sign, depending on what time of the year you sign, obviously. And when I signed when I was 16, it was at the start of the signing period. And that made me eligible to play my first season over there that year and the following year when I was still here.
In high school.
Yeah, so I was here still playing for the Giants then. And they kind of counted as my first 2 professional seasons over there as well, because that was just how the times on the contracts work. And then I spent my 5 years after that over there. Well, this coming will be my 5th year. And after that, you will either get the option to sign another contract with your team for, could be anywhere up to 7 years after that again, or you could elect to go to free agency and try and play for somebody else or see where it all takes you.
Nah, Jack, we really appreciate you stopping by in the middle of Giants training. One more question than our normal questions. What's it like putting on the Giants uniform at home after not pitching here for, 4 seasons or something like that in front of the home fans?
It's definitely been fun to play at home again and get out in the field and
You're pitching this weekend.
I should
Hopefully.
hopefully pitching this weekend, yes. So it's definitely going to be fun to get out there and pitch in front of friends and family again. You know, a lot of those guys and family don't get to see it too much because it's little ways away. So it'll be good.
And it'll be fun to strike out Darcy Berry and Max Stagg as well.
Yeah, that'll be talked about for a
Yeah,
while.
that'll
won't it?
be hopefully I can get those 2 out. That'll be fun.
Jack, favorite sporting event that you have ever been to in your life so far?
So I haven't been to a lot of sporting events, but I heard you talking to Fidge, and mine's also an NHL game.
Yeah.
And it was this year. It was my first NHL game I've ever been to when I stayed after the season, and it was the St. Louis Blues. So a pretty solid NHL team.
And they won the cup a couple years ago, and last year they were really, really hot heading into the playoffs, and they kind of choked in the first, but they're an unbelievable team. They're good again this year.
They are good, and we had some pretty good seats supplied by a teammate that I was living with at the time. His stepdad was a sponsor of
Great.
of them.
No,
so-
that's fantastic.
So
That's a good event.
And I've got one for you too. You're still only young, but who was your childhood hero, and who did you look up to and aspire to be when you were growing up?
for me, growing up, it was really my dad, because I grew up on the north side of town, and I started playing baseball out at Playford City. So when I started out there, it was kind of just only thing I really know is dad playing or this and that. So it was definitely dad.
Yeah, cool.
And then a sporting event that you would love to go to in the future or the past.
No, it's definitely going to be going to a golf major.
Okay, get to Augusta.
I've been there.
Yeah,
Done that.
that's definitely something I want to do.
And most played song right now on Spotify or Apple Music or like Fidge's cassette players or whatever he's using these days.
I don't even know, to be honest. It sits on shuffle all the time when I'm in the car, so I couldn't even tell you what.
What kind of style of music then?
Kind of like a 2000s, like older, not old, but
In Sync? No.
nah, it's more like just like early 2000s, like old rap and just, nothing crazy, but just stuff to keep your mind off of everything, pretty much.
Keeps you enjoying it. Jack, Thanks so much for stopping by. Looking forward to hopefully watching you pitch this weekend. And, of course, we'll be watching very closely when the minor league season gets going and following along You can pay it's like the Curtis Mead and Jack O'Loughlin fan page in the off season. It's just like only reports about them. So you got to keep doing stuff so I have something to write about.
Sounds good. Thank you very much for having me.
We'll see you, Jack. After this, we'll highlight a couple volunteers, get some community moments, and we'll be back after this.
Hilltop Office Supplies are here to provide you with all your stationery, sanitary products and office equipment. We are a local business servicing local communities with the ability to offer you and your business the best prices. We offer a large range of office supplies from pens, ink cartridges and toner to monitors, keyboards and laptops. If you can't see it on our website or in our catalogue, ask us and we'll source it for you. We have a partnership with Kaishira Document Solutions where you will find many leasing options available for these state-of-the-art units and plenty to choose from whether you have 5 or 5,000 employees. We offer businesses a one-stop shop for all cleaning, kitchen and bathroom needs. Check out our website at www.hilltopofficesupplies.com.au. Register your business to stay on top of the latest sales and receive member specials. We are baseball people here to support the baseball community.
Few quick community shout-outs here on In the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies.
Hilltop.
Christmas catalog still out.
moving into the school catalog now, so everyone's coming back to school.
All right, 50 games. We'll start out at Henley and Grange. David Trevino Hernandez clicking over to 50 games as a young buck. The Rams love their junior.
Look at that. The bat's almost as big as he is.
It's bigger. Look at his arms. Bigger than me.
That's not hard, Eric.
Yeah, true. Chase Rowe, 200 games, and his little brother Scott Rowe hit 100 games all in the same week. That's sick.
Yeah, that's
There's a few
hard.
links coming up here. Yeah, that isn't. So a lot of you juniors sharing a few moments. We have a couple cool ones coming up. Darren Fidge, this is Burke Weber, sorry. Burke Weber, 600 games. He's actually got a storied career at West Torrens. He won a bucket load of premierships, won some Players of the Year. He's won like a Bob Finn trophy for like the best player in the Claxton Shield for South Australia. You played with him, right?
I absolutely did. I
won
some premierships with
What was that West Torrens team?
The whole team?
Yeah, were you wagon?
We won 52 out of 53 over 2.5 seasons.
Yeah, Burke would have been a part of that?
Burke was definitely a part of that.
And a big part of it.
A big part of it.
Yeah, Burke Weber, 600 games, pretty cool there.
Look at that photo. Oh, my Lord.
Darrell Fidge, as he calls himself. No,
wow.
Darren Fidge. We talked to him earlier today. That's a great photo,
isn't it?
So yeah, he's been pitching over maybe 2,000 games he's been involved in, whatever that. Well, it would be more than that too.
Yeah.
So congrats to him on getting the hit and the walk off in game number 700. Suze Doyle, 50 games over at Southern Districts. Those numbers keep adding up. But also at Southern Districts, a really cool combination as best mates Wade Doyle and Jai Payne celebrated 400 and 300 games respectively. They played together on the weekend. That's sick to share a milestone with your mate.
Absolutely. That's great.
Over at Adelaide, Tom Webb hitting 50 games. Shout out to you. Another young buck coming up. Lachlan Pace, 150 games. And why these are great to celebrate. Certainly one of the sadder moments of the week, but another life to celebrate is Kevin Medley, who I've talked to a few people, especially around the West Torrens community, and I've actually he was in like with the Claxton Club and stuff too. But man, 7 Claxton Shields, 4-time premiership player. He played 500 games over that for the Eagles. He was the former coach of the Eagles. Like this dude, I know everybody has glowing things to say about how good of a player he was.
Yeah, you talk about West Torrens, you talk about Kevin Medley. So he was in the team, West Torrens team of the century, as well
easily
in that presentation that we were all at. So, yeah, certainly a long life legend of the club, and it's very sad news for him. And we have condolences for all the Medley family and West Torrens who have loved Kevin for such a long time and over probably 70 years of his life probably.
Yeah. And finally, Volunteer of the Week is back.
Oh.
And this one comes. This was awesome. We did a little shout out on our Facebook page about what volunteers stick out, and this guy got like 40 likes on the comments and a big stream of people being like, "How can we not talk about this man right here?" Warren Wazza Edmonds at Southern Districts Baseball Club. Do you want a laundry list of stuff this guy does?
Yeah, let's tell everyone what he's up to.
Fixes and cares for the grounds, prepares the diamonds, fills the water, writes the lineups, deals with issues that arise, helps any coach of any gender or age of any division of baseball and steps in. In a weekend, he'll be known to umpire a game as well as jump in the canteen or on the barbecue if he has a spare moment. So he's umpiring, coaching, fixing the grounds, jumping in the canteen, and he lives and breathes his family, which is in his baseball family at the Hawks. So he is there no matter what the situation is, win or lose, heart of gold, and a gentleman that is known and loved by all. And a few people actually messaged me saying he's always up for a laugh. Like, he's just
That's
like
awesome.
a genuine dude. And
A true volunteer.
yeah, the message I got from Suze Doyle, who was talking a lot about him, was saying we would be lost without Waza.
Yep.
And I love that he literally does everything.
Jack. We call him Jack. Jack of all trades.
I love that. Warren Edmonds,
We salute,
you. That is a volunteer and what it's all about.
Absolutely. That's fantastic.
Big show this week. We're taking the week off next week.
You're going to play golf.
I'm seeing my dad for the first time in 3.5 years.
That's great.
So I'm going to ditch the show.
Yeah, no, as I would too.
Yeah. So
You'll
I'm
have to
gonna
just. We'll be asking you when you get back how many golf balls you lose, because I know what Barnboogle's like. So
I was at the shop and I was like, oh, Dad, like I got some golf balls. Like I bought you 24. Like he's just like, double it.
yeah, what's he going to play? What's he going to use for the second round you play?
Yeah, literally. And he hasn't played since like October, so he's
that's
going
not
to be.
the golf course to be playing. You haven't played for very much.
Yeah,
I'll
it's the
tell
middle
you.
of winter in Canada, and he's been in lockdown.
And it's going to be windy down there too. So enjoy that.
So we'll see you in 2 weeks. This is In the Bullpen, brought to you by Hilltop Office Supplies. Jump on that website for all your office needs, and we'll see you then.
See you guys.